how's it going? Today I wanted to talk about the top 5 books that I read this year. So I'm going to start with number 5, which I actually was surprised to discover that I don't own, and then I remembered that I ended up buying it on ebook because I didn't want to have to wait for it to be shipped all the way here to New Zealand, which sometimes takes a really long time. And so I do need to buy it in physical copy because I have the rest of the series, and that is Magic Binds, which is the 9th book of the Kate Daniels series, which is my absolute favourite series, so it's not surprising it's on this list. Actually, what is surprising is that I decided to put it at number 5. I do really love this series. I love the way that it kind of incorporates all sorts of different mythology. Basically, Kate Daniels is like this mercenary, and she also kind of discovers her powers as she goes, gets involved with shapeshifters. I don't know, so much happens over the course of the series, it's pretty hard to describe. So far there's been 9 books, and then the 10th book is being released next year, I think. I'm also planning probably next year to do a reread of the whole series, because I really think that to get the best out of that last book would be to kind of refresh my memory of everything that's happened so far. I think that's part of why the 9th book only made it to number 5, was just because I had taken so long. It's been so long since I started the series that I've kind of lost the momentum for the series. So I'm going to go back, reread the whole thing, and then I'm so super hyped for book number 10. Then number 4 would be A Conjuring of Light, which is the 3rd book in the Darker Shades of Magic trilogy. So I reread the first book of the Darker Shades of Magic trilogy this year, and then I read the 2nd and 3rd books. I thought the 2nd book felt very middle bookish, but the 3rd book did a really good job of kind of continuing the story, building things up to epic proportions, but then wrapping things up really well. I think everybody knows, but The Darker Shades of Magic is set in a world where there are multiple worlds, specifically multiple Londons that range from our grey London that has no magic to red London, white London, and then black London, which is locked off because magic went crazy. What I was disappointed about in this book is that we didn't get more of black London. Like, there was some aspects of it, but I would have liked a lot more of it. Maybe, I know that V. Schwab plans to write some more stuff in that same world, so maybe we'll get a lot more explanation of what's going on with Black London. But anyway, I really enjoyed that series, and the last book especially I thought was really well done. Then book number 3 was Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This is just a standalone, and I really loved the concepts of this book, and I thought it was told in quite a good way, and that it works up and includes quite a lot of action at the same time as exploring the kind of philosophical ideas that it includes. It's kind of hard to talk about this story without including spoilers, because going into it I actually thought it was a time travel story. It's not, but it is a science fiction story that investigates something similar. Basically, this guy Jason gets kidnapped and finds himself in a world like his own, but different. I have since found out that he has written some more books, so I hope that I would be able to get to some of them next year. And number 2 is kind of a strange one, and that is the Lemony Snicket series. I think particularly the Inhospitable Hospital was one of my favourites, although I love the whole series. So I think it was the end of last year I started reading the series. My sister has the whole series, and I'm not sure, I didn't write it down, what book I was up to at the beginning of the year, but I pretty much just marathoned them all at the start of the year because I wanted to watch the TV series with my sister, which, if you like Lemony Snicket and you haven't watched the TV series, I would definitely recommend it. It builds on the story. Like, in the beginning we were really angry. We thought they'd totally messed something up and they had strayed from the story, but whew, they won us over in the end. It was really great. There's meant to be another season at some point, so I hope that won't be too far away. So most people on BookTube are younger than me, so Lemony Snicket was probably came out during your childhood. That's my sister is 12 years younger than me, so it was a book from her childhood, which is why she was so keen for me to read it. and I'm really glad I did. I just love the kind of the writing style is so playful with its use of words, and the world is just so weird but also really interesting. Basically follows these 3 orphans who are chased around by Count Olaf, and as they move from kind of different foster homes. But the mystery eventually gets really big and amazing, and I know some people were not very happy with the ending, but I really liked it. The only thing I was sad about is that the series had to end, really. And number 1 is another series, because this year was pretty much all about series for me and finishing series. And oh, I even have that one in physical form, and that is the Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the Raven Boys. I don't actually have any of the rest of the books because I read these all from the library, but I've been putting them on my birthday and Christmas wish list in the hope of getting the series, so hopefully I'll get the Dream Thieves for Christmas, and if I don't, I think I'm actually just going to buy it for myself. The Dream Thieves I think was actually my favorite series. This is another one that's really hard to describe. It's kind of marketed as being about this girl Blue who lives with a family of psychics, and she's kind of been told that if she kisses her true love they will die. But there's so much more to the story. Basically every book in the series focuses on one character. First one is mostly about Blue, then the second one I think focuses on Ronan, the third one on Adam, and the fourth one on Gansey. Not sure if that's exactly right, but the Raven Boys are some kind of prep school boys that Blue gets involved with. They each have kind of their own little story going, but the stories also all interweave together. They live in kind of this small town where there's a ley line running through it, so there's all sorts of weird magical stuff going on. I just really love the writing style and how quirky things are. I love all the characters. I love that it went in directions that I wasn't expecting. I know this book gets a lot of hype, this series gets a lot of hype, but in my opinion that hype is justified, and this is definitely my favourite series of all the books that I read this year. So those were my top 5 books for the year 2017. If you've read any of those books, I'd love to talk to you about them down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Do you agree that they're good, or do you think they were terrible? And also, knowing that those are the books that I really liked, are there any books that you would recommend to me? Because I would love to get some recommendations, even though I already have too many books to read. But ignore that. More books is always good, especially good books. So, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.